Welcome, Tiny Hands, Big Dreams, here on the edge of the Amazon. We're going to make what we think is the most authentic thing you're going to see this week. We're going to talk about who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, why you should subscribe and watch us. We're going to make that case. If you give us a few minutes, we're gonna try. So, first off,
we were sitting.
No. What's your name? We have like 70 videos. I think in one of them we said our name.
I know. I don't know why. Elizabeth.
This is Elizabeth. I'm Chris. The child, Eli, otherwise known as the occasional Bigfoot, because he just lurks in the background shots.
It's true.
That's us.
Yeah. We were sitting today trying to figure out what video to film. We've been off of the YouTube for a week because my computer decided to stop working.
It's dead. We're on the backup computer without working keyboard thing, something else tweaks out.
Like to play on the hard settings sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, we have to kind of like get our brains back in this. All right, what are we filming? I'm thinking, I'm trying to come up with something. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I posed the question of what are we doing?
What are we doing? Why would you watch us?
Who are we on
Who are
YouTube?
These people?
I watch a good bit of YouTube. I listen to a good bit of YouTube as I'm doing other things. And as far as homesteading content, you get these very highly produced, very edited, very beautiful videos that there's a place for them. I watch them. I can't say they're terrible. I watch them. They're nice.
They're lovely. They claim it takes them, like an hour of editing per minute of video, kind of like high production value.
It's very high production. We are not that.
I have an 8-year-old cell phone that is currently filming this with a broken screen. It's sitting between two rubber boots holding it up. Not joking.
And we have the only and cheapest microphones we could get. One of which now only lasts like 5 minutes before it turns off.
Yeah.
That's what we got. So we're not the highly produced. There's also a lot of super instructional videos, which, again, I've watched. We both watch different instructional videos.
You do this exactly this way, do this thing, buy this stuff.
And if you're looking for that exact answer, that's cool. We tend not to do that either. We're doing a lot of things off book.
We are off script on a lot of things. We're literally on the edge of the Amazon. In southern Ecuador.
If you don't know, we are
trying to homestead because the American dream wasn't available anymore for us in the United States, so we left. And we found it here, but it's a completely and interesting different place. It presents unique challenges. We're trying to learn it, understand it, do something that is very uncommon, and have a lot of fun with it.
And there's no blueprint for what we're doing here, which translates to no blueprint, no box to put us in on the YouTube either. And that was kind of the problem. I'm like, well, where do we fit? YouTube doesn't know what to do with us. We just don't fit any of the boxes. We also have kind of a varied content.
I do videos on, I did one on solar, and it did pretty well because people like that. And then we do gardening, and then we do something on pigs, and then we do something on
moving to Ecuador.
So we have people interested in Ecuador. They watch us, but only some of, and so everybody's only watching some of our videos, and that's fine. But what does that make us as a channel? We are broad in interest. And unfortunately,
we are broad in interest
YouTube
as human beings.
Then funnels that down to just litter you to these weird other channels that make no sense whatsoever and have nothing to do with any of them.
So I see a lot of channels, trying to kind of figure this out. I'll look back through channels that I watch and kind of see their progression and where did they take off? What did they do? Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, and I have no idea, and they probably have no idea either. And other times, I can very clearly see that they took a distinct direction. They either went to the instructional, the highly edited, or they went to a very specific topic. We could do one of those things, and we might be more successful. But I don't think it would be authentic.
So we would have to exclude
so much
authentically what we're doing, who we are, and what we're trying to do to fit into the little box to things that we would have to make the stupid faces that everybody does on the thumbnails.
You could do that.
We're not going to do it.
Now you could do that, and that might be more successful.
You could do it.
I could do it. I'm not going to do it. I draw the line at that. I'll push the envelope with some of the thumbnails of trying to make it slightly more clickable. I refuse to do the faces or the clickbait. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do a lot of those things, and some of it's perfectly fine for other people. It's just not authentic to us, and I think authenticity is lacking.
So we're figuring it out. Not everything is perfect. Usually you watch a video and everything's great and it's wonderful and it's the outcome, and it's like I call it the equivalent of the TV cooking show. Everything is perfectly prepped in this little glass bowls, and everyone smiles, and they dump it together, and they stir it up, and they put it in the oven, and immediately take out the other one that's already done, and oh, it's so great. It's not real.
And for someone who then is watching that for more than entertainment and is actually trying to learn something, it's not very helpful, because who's doing the dishes?
Yeah, and where's the failure? How do you learn from the failures and the mistakes and the things you didn't understand? So we did an episode on our pigs, and we had complications. We did a couple of videos on that, and we actually lost some piglets. We almost lost our sow. Yeah. So things went wrong. Nature happens, but we talked about that. We look, this happens, and if you're trying to learn, you're trying to do it for the first time from scratch. It is important to see the exceptions, the failures, the things, and then how to cope with it.
And the fact that we are doing things differently than, honestly, most people on the internet. Now, that doesn't mean we're doing things differently than most people in the world. It just means that most people on YouTube are from the U.S. That's most of the people homesteading are in the U.S. We're not doing things with a tractor and high tunnels, greenhouses.
We showed how to butcher a pig using a knife and a folding table. No fancy equipment. And a hand truck.
So
interesting video. There's garden modification, there's soil building, and what do we build the tunnels out of? It's some old water pipe.
Yep.
And some bird netting that we had left over from some other project. What's the exact cost? Zero. We had it laying around. And a lot of the stuff we do is like incredibly super budget of whatever we already have, because there is no budget.
It's true.
But also there's a lot of people that can learn from that. If you can use what you have and what's laying around, you don't have to go buy the perfect thing and the perfect this and the perfect that.
And I think that idea keeps people from homesteading, from doing any of those things, even if it's not a full-blown homesteading.
I want to raise chickens. Well, when you butcher your chickens, you have to have the plucker and this thing and the scalder and this, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so much equipment. You don't need it all.
I have a string and a tree and a table with a knife. And I just did that yesterday, and that was it.
The table doubles for a lot of other purposes the rest of the time, too. It's not a dedicated anything.
And so I think that's kind of what we're trying to do. And we're not even trying to do it. We're just simply doing it and occasionally filming. And that's the reality. And it's not perfect. And sometimes I look at our footage and I'm like,
nothing we do is made to be content for YouTube. It is done because we are doing it to survive, to live on, the solar, we need the power to exist.
Yeah.
Yes, I happen to do a video on it. Okay. But it's not like
we're doing something and we're like, oh, we should probably, I want to say film. That ages us, doesn't it? Film. Record? Is that better?
Sure.
Okay. I'm like, oh, we should probably get that on camera. Okay.
She's the old one.
How about inauthentic?
For the people out there saying, I want a homestead, but I think I'm too old, I'm past it. I'm 50 this year.
Yeah.
You can still do it. Sometimes you have to get yourself back into shape, and that might take you a minute, but it can happen.
Yeah. So that's us. We're just doing life. I think that...
But we're doing it somewhere interesting, without any real rules, without any constraints.
Yep.
We don't have permits, zoning fees, things, neighborhood associations. So you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't breed these two different goats to make a new kind of goat. Yes, we can. We can do whatever we want. We are unbridled by constraints here. If it is within our abilities and our desire, we're just going to do it. We're going to build a house with our bare hands from sticks and mud.
Which we've gotten comments on saying that we're doing it wrong. That might be.
we're doing it wrong for XYZ
yes.
consideration things, commercial code, something, depending on where you are and what you're doing. Yes, it's completely wrong. But
we're doing it specifically for us in our situation here.
And yes, we think it's going to work swimmingly. Yes, it is on the edge sometimes of what you can get away with doing in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And we do that with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm redoing the entire garden plan because the first time didn't work, the second time didn't work, the third time didn't work.
We are dealing with some really unique challenges. The solar system, I still have to put that video out. It's a complete redo. It is really, really off script. It is very different than anything you've ever seen. And I have broken a lot of rules in doing so. And it's working. And it's working well.
Yep.
So that's coming out. And so this is just us. There's a problem. We have to fix it. Let's find a creative solution unrestrained by a lot of other things.
And we're sharing that.
And we're sharing it. And we like the conversation.
We do.
So when we have a working keyboard, which is not exactly right now,
it's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
We literally have to I'm typing on the screen with the mouse to do stuff. So give us a minute on that. But we respond to all the comments. We talk to people. If you haven't, you're watching our videos, you're like, hey, you think you're something, you're this, something around our farm, you want to see more of something.
If you have any video ideas for things
let us
to
know.
Talk about, to show, anything. Because sometimes we don't even realize something might be interesting to other people because it's just our life.
We had a request from somebody to do chicken butchering.
Yeah.
Without any fancy stuff, this, that. We're like, fowl. Okay. That's actually coming out, in another week or two. We just put it on the schedule. We didn't realize that was interesting to somebody. Sure, we'll do it. Something we're doing anyway.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, the most important thing is everything you see, we're just doing.
It is authentically us. There is no crew. There is no staff.
And it is not done for a video either. Occasionally we will be like, oh, let's wait an hour until the cicadas shut up. And then we'll do the thing so it can be on video.
We have pretty much either we walk around or we sit here, and here has two views. There's mountains behind you that you can't see that are beautiful. And behind us is our scrubby garden in process thing.
And up there eventually will be a house.
And it's the upstairs of what is basically a tree house of a house. It'll fall down in the next year or two. We have to get out of it before that happens.
So we're not fancy. We don't have fancy equipment. We don't do a lot of special editing or filming or anything.
The computer's 12 years old.
Yep.
We use open source free software. The tripod, I have a tripod made of 3 sticks and some wire. I have a monopod made of 1 stick and a motorcycle phone mount that I had to rub off the motorcycle.
And if we're not using one of those and you see both of us, it's probably the 10-year-old holding the phone.
He does pretty good. If all of a sudden our heads disappear and then come back,
he's
working on it.
But that's it. That's all we've got, and we're trying to be as authentic as possible.
Life should be authentic. Life is not the super polished, produced, all the errors and bits cut out and things like. That's how YouTube started. I kind of think it'd be great if it got back to it a bit, and if people are interested in that, here we are.
So that's why you should subscribe.
That's why you should subscribe.
So yeah.
So that's our spiel. If you think it might be interesting, look through our old catalog. We have a bunch of videos. I think we have like 70 videos that we've done.
God, I don't know. There
are some good ones in there, like stuff we're really proud of. Like poke around a bit, and there's future ones coming out. So subscribe. Definitely share us. We don't get if you're seeing this, you have won the lucky lottery. We get served as a thumbnail to so few people. It's laughable. So share it, please. Tell some other people, like, hey, check these weird people out in Ecuador. Living the dream.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, thanks for watching. We hope to see you in the future.